Getting a credit card is difficult enough under normal circumstances. However, it might be especially difficult if you're missing one component, and that is being employed. What happens if you don't have a traditional source of income like a job? Can you still get a credit card? Let's find out. Welcome back to Tito's Credit Cards, where we talk about cashback and points and how to maximize your redemptions. If that's something that interests you, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Getting a credit card without being employed is a question that my wife had recently faced. And why is that? Well, our family is growing. That's right, our family is getting a little bit bigger, and we're lucky enough that we can live off my income alone. But with that being said, she actually watched one of my latest videos. I know, surprisingly, she actually watches the content that I make. She watched the latest video on the Chase Freedom Flex card and how you're able to get a potential welcome bonus of up to 120,000 ultimate reward points thanks to its grocery multiplier of 10x on up to $12,000 worth of spend. If you're interested in learning more about this welcome bonus and how you can attain it, go ahead and click that video right there. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and cover some quick details as well as some questions that I've seen when it comes to this subject. First and foremost is the fact that you need to have a game plan whenever you're applying for a credit card, especially if you don't have a traditional source of income like being employed. If you're not receiving that kind of income, the last thing you want to do is apply for a new credit card and you don't have a game plan to pay off that credit card at the end of every single month. Let's remember that there's currently a little bit over $1 trillion worth of credit card debt alone. That is an astonishingly high number. And the last thing that I want is for you to be part of that 1 trillion plus credit card debt. So please, if nothing else comes from this video, make sure that you have a game plan whenever you're applying for a credit card, because having a credit card debt could really dig you into a hole that could take you months, if not years, to dig yourself out of. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and cover some questions that I found and saw when it came to this topic about getting a credit card without being employed. The very first question that my wife and I had was, well, can you get a credit card if you are not employed? And the answer to that is yes. You can still get a credit card even if you're not employed. The next follow-up question to that would obviously be, well, why? And the reason for that is that back in 2009, Congress passed the Credit Card Accountability, Responsibility, and Disclosure Act, also known as the Credit Card Act. This act allows anybody that's 21 years or older to list any household income that they have reasonable expectation of access. This includes income that your spouse or partner might bring in, as well as other income like Social Security payments, investment returns, and unemployment benefits. As long as you live in the same household and you're receiving some sort of income, you can list that under the application whenever you're applying for a credit card to use that as your household income and thus having a source of income that you can pay off the credit card. Again, remember, at the end of the day, the bank only wants to make sure that if they issue you a credit card, that you have the means to pay off the balance at the end of the month. Obviously, they want you to make the minimum payment so they can start charging you interest, but that's a story for another video. The next question that came up with this was, well, Tito, did you verify any of this with Chase before your wife started applying? And the answer to that is yes. I actually went ahead and called Chase's customer service, explained the situation, that my wife is a homemaker and she wanted to get the Chase Freedom Flex card. They did advise that she could put an application and use my income as the household income and thus income that she could put in on the application. And again, the reason for that is that we are married and we're living in the same household. The next follow-up question would be, well, Tito, I've applied for credit cards and I know they're always asking for your employer. What did she put under that section? And she did not lie. Under the employer section, she went ahead and input that she was unemployed because, again, she is. However, she still included my income. And again, that's one thing that I definitely want you guys to remember. No matter the circumstances or the issue, do not lie on any of your credit card applications or any loan applications for that matter. Hey, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Tito, if that's the case, then shouldn't I just go ahead and apply for credit cards right away? Hell no, to the no. please don't do that. Again, the biggest thing to have whenever you're applying for credit cards and honestly any loans is to have a game plan on how you're going to tackle the payments. Again, a loan should not be treated as a savings account, much more as what it is. It's just a loan. It is using somebody else's money. At the end of the day, or rather at the end of the month, you have to make sure that you pay off your balance to make sure that you don't pay any interest. And the reason for that is if you start paying any interest, no matter what multipliers or benefits a credit card has to offer, they will pale in comparison to the amount of interest that you're paying in. The reason that my wife and I are applying for the Chase Freedom Flex card is, again, it doesn't have an annual fee, but also we are not going to be changing anything when it comes to the expenses that we're already putting on our other credit cards. Right now, when it comes to groceries, we always utilize the American Express Gold card because it gives us 4x back on all of those transactions. However, what we're going to do now is we're going to take those transactions and put them on the Chase Freedom Flex card if she's approved. But then we would be getting a 10x return on up to $12,000 worth of spend in the first year that she has this credit card. And please remember that you also have to have a good to great credit score whenever you're applying for one of these credit cards. Now, thankfully, my wife has a great perfect credit score, so that obviously did help. The last question that I came up with was, well, since you're using household income, will you be asked to provide proof of income? And again, it depends on a case-by-case basis, but I don't really think you're going to be asked to show proof of income. And obviously, it all depends on the income that you include. If you're lying and you're putting way more than what you're making, they might want to see proof of that. For example, if your household brings in $60,000 every year, but you put in $250,000, Chase, or any other bank for that matter, will probably want to see and verify that amount. So again, as long as you're not lying and you're putting in the correct household income, you should be good to go. And in fact, that's exactly what happened to us. My wife went ahead and applied for the credit card, and she was not asked for any proof of income whatsoever. So my wife went incognito mode, found the welcome offer that we wanted to get. Again, that was the 10x grocery multiplier on the Chase Freedom Flex card. She went ahead and put in the application. Now take in mind, this is her first relationship and application with Chase. She doesn't have any credit cards, any loans, or any bank accounts with Chase. So this is her first relationship. So either way, she went ahead, started the application. She utilized my income as the household income, thus her income. And again, she did not lie. She went ahead and input that she was unemployed and that she is a homemaker. She went ahead and submitted the application, and after a couple of seconds of waiting, she got that coveted approval site that she was approved for the Chase Freedom Flex card and that the card would be shipped out the very next day. So obviously we were both happy because we were just getting a new credit card and a great multiplier on a no annual fee credit card, at least for the first year or the first $12,000 worth of spend. With that being said, the whole process was flawless and really didn't have any issue. But the only thing that kind of really made me scratch my head was the limit that she was approved for. Again, it wasn't anything wrong with it. It wasn't low. It was a good amount. I was just surprised that she got approved for a specific amount, whereas I know I got approved for a much larger amount. So I'm not sure if that's just one thing on the fact that she put unemployed, but she did get a lower limit than what I'm accustomed to. With that being said, I definitely want to hear from you guys. Have you or anybody that you know of applied for a credit card without having the traditional income of being employed? If so, what was your income? Did you get approved or did you get a decline? Let me know in the comments. With that being said, if you found any information useful during this video, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Adios.